Trigger and content warning. Arches is a horror story that can be emotionally intense experience for some readers. Themes of drug addiction, mental illness, and abuse are explored, along with depictions and imageries of violence. Please consider your mental well-being before listening. Viewer discretion is advised. With that being said, let's go on to it. Hello. Oh, the double screening of both sides. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Arches visual novel stream, the sequel to Echo. Now, I don't know too much other than what I've seen from Flynn's and TJ's route, but other than that, we know it's been a couple of years since the events of Echo. So from the description that the visual novel has given, in the March of 2020, boyfriends Cameron and Devin arrive in the ghost town of Echo to conduct a paranormal investigation. It has been 5 years since the mass hysteria supposedly left the town, completely abandoned. While it does seem empty at first, they realize that something evil lurks in Echo. Evil enough that it has kept the horrors alive. This is considered a standalone, so it is a standalone story that takes place after the events of Echo. So, that being said, let's jump right into it.
Is this Neo Echo? I hope there is a version of Chase Hunter in this game to terrorize Nox's mind again.
No. Never. Run. Running was something he was always good at. He was always the fastest in the class. Just last year, he came in second in a 200-meter dash at the state track meet. Just 8 months ago, a coach from the University of Pueblo approached him about joining the track and field team after graduation. Just last month, he realized he was the fastest freshman on the team. Just last week, he started to hang out with older men who could get him into Pueblo's gay bars. I brought up the wrong thing. Oh no, there's double. X this out. My bad, guys. Press the wrong button. Just last week, he started hanging out with older men who could get him into Pueblo's gay bars. Just 3 days ago, one of these men spiked his drink. Just 2 days ago, he woke up in restraints. Just yesterday, he was being tortured. Just 10 minutes ago, he escaped. But now, he's realizing that it doesn't matter. Everywhere he looks is only burning desert. There's no one. His attempts to scream for help matter even less because his voice is broken. He can barely wheeze after what that man did to him. And now, his empty, droning sounds are being swallowed up by the desert. Jesus Christ, we just started. All the while, the heavy footsteps scraping through the gravel behind him kept coming. This man isn't in a hurry at all. Running was something he was always good at, but now, when it matters the most, he can't do it. The fastest freshman at a D1 university is no faster than an old druggie. He definitely would have been if he didn't anything over the past 3 days. If his ribs weren't broken, if he could see straight, man had given him something. He told him it was for the pain, but the pain is still there, and now he can't even stand. His balance is shot, and he keeps stumbling until he's just crawling on all fours. It's now that he realizes the man had let him get away on purpose. This makes him realize something else. He's going to die. tired from the drug, from the past 3 days of constant fear and torture, and from trying to run. He collapses. He lays there in the dirt, sobbing, even though tears don't come out. He'd run out of those after all the things that man did to him. The light above is blinding. He wonders if this is God. His mother is a devout Catholic, and even though he never believed, he promises this light that he'll become a believer right here and now if it saves him. The crunching gravel footsteps get closer. I need to go. His voice is still ragged and hoarse. The footsteps come even closer. I have a meat. There's a childish, high-pitched laugh. Ooh, boy. You think I must have hit you one too many times. All you do is talk about your fucking track bullshit now. The huge form moves closer. You know, that shit don't matter where no more, right? His chest aches with overwhelming sadness and despair. And it's not just because he's about to die. It's because his mom won't know what happened to him. And it's because the last text message he saw from her said, "Love you, bug," with 10 hearts and kissing emojis. At the time, he just rolled his eyes and didn't respond. He thought he'd be able to do that the next day or the day after that. After he'd been kidnapped, the man took his phone and sat it on the counter. It sat there and buzzed over and over with messages, and his kidnapper only laughed when he asked to at least read them. Now the tears flow just as the man leans over him with something heavy in his paw. He hopes his mom is right about God. He hopes he can see her from the other side, just so he can respond somehow. But there's nothing. Cameron holds onto the seat tightly, the coyote's teeth rattling together with every pothole they hit. His boyfriend Devin doesn't seem bothered at all. The bear paws on the wheel with an elbow hanging out the window. He had been singing loudly to the music playing through the car's Bluetooth speakers, and it wasn't until his cell phone service was lost that Devin finally seemed to notice Cameron's unease. "You alright, babe?" "I think you could go a little slower." "What?" Cameron raises his voice, yelling over the rattling interior. "Go slower!" "Why? This is the kind of terrain this baby was built for." "Okay, but..." Cameron's voice bounces as he hits another deep groove in the destroyed road. "We don't know what's around any of these bends. What if it just drops off and we go down a ravine or something?" "That's what the roll bars are for, honey." "And I'm pretty sure I'm about to chip a tooth." "Oh, come on. You gotta admit there's something nice about feeling the road." Cameron doesn't respond and goes on clutching at his seat. Devin does slow down a bit, though, more carefully maneuvering around the most broken up parts of the road. "What happened to the road anyway? It's only been, what, 5 years? Flash floods, according to what I read online. Obviously, no one's around for the upkeep, so this is what happens." I felt that sigh. No trigger warnings, truly. Or you can just do the voice, man. Oh yeah. I forgot how the state works. Dry as hell until a wall of watery death comes down the road during monsoon season. The coyote tenses up as the bear makes another smooth but still sudden turn. And it's hotter than I remember. How are you a coyote, Cameron? This is your climate. You know better than to say that. Just because I'm built for it doesn't mean I have to like it. Yeah, but you hate it in Fort Allen too. Doesn't get ungodly hot there though. I can at least deal with it. Well, the transfer to Bonneville City is looking good, so you won't have to deal with it much longer. Cameron shrugs. Milder weather would be nice, I guess. Devon grins. Nice weather. Nicer scenery. Nicer people. Everyone's a Mormon. Which is why they're nice. The ones living down here aren't. There's a big difference between the fundamentalists and the normal ones. The ones that baptize dead people and wear Jesus jammies under their clothes. Second. I might have to take a break soon so I can refill the humidifier. Dev shrugs. Most religions are weird when you break them down like that. I'm just saying, whether it's magic garments or prairie dresses, they came from the same fucked up place. Is it Devon or Devon? Devon. Devon doesn't say anything, and Cameron realizes how bitchy he sounds right now. Sorry, I just worry how they might look at us. It's harder to gauge people when they're all fake nice. Yeah, that's true, but look. Dev nods his head towards Cameron's window and the coyote follows his gaze. The rocky, uneven landscape has opened up to a wide expanse of blue. That's like Emma, which means Echo is... The bear looks ahead, and the first thing that Cameron sees is a tall, rusty sign with letters on top that he can't quite read from this distance. Below it is a small, shabby building, and beyond it are a few smaller, even shabbier buildings. Cameron wasn't sure what he'd feel like when he first saw the town. If the coyote really is what Devon thinks he is, then right now he'd feel all the awful, evil things that supposedly happened here. Those small, rundown buildings should be exuding the memories of their past, which then be projected into his mind. But Cameron feels nothing. Of course, he kind of knew that this would be the case, but he never been to a place that was famously haunted. Not like Echo, anyway. So he's worried just a little bit. Dev asked him in the past to go on his amateur paranormal investigations, all because the coyote could see things. He reminded Dev the proper word was hallucinate. The thing he saw were manifested by his own mind. There was no reason for him to give it fuel by going to some place that's supposedly haunted. Dev got the message pretty quickly and stopped asking. They still talked about all those interests he had though, and Cameron realized there was a lot more to Devon's interests in ghosts than just dumb fun. And even though he preferred to entertain Devon's psychic bullshit, the bear still took care of him. He'd done so much for the coyote that Cameron was embarrassed to think about it sometimes. So when Dev got this chance to go to the place he wanted to go the most, Cameron decided he had to go as well. He's doing this for Dev, to show his appreciation for everything that Dev has done for him. Still, Devon had been trying to make this seem more like a vacation of sorts, like Cameron wouldn't be doing any investigations at all. He would need to talk to the bear and let him know that he was willing to do this for real, at least within reason. He also needed to tell him why he didn't like doing this, and that part might be hard. It doesn't look so bad, for a ghost town, I mean. Looks can be deceiving. Hang on, gotta pull over for a sec. Why? Want to scout out the lake a bit before dark. I also gotta take a massive leak. Cameron tries not to sigh, but just wanting to get into the town so he can be sure that he doesn't feel anything. To really make sure that there's nothing to be worried about. He isn't worried about the ghost, but rather his own brain and what it might do. The road becomes smoother and newer looking as they pull up to the lake, where it all began. They were trying to turn this reservoir into a recreational spot right when it all happened. They both get out, and Cameron stretching his legs gratefully. That's too bad. It kind of looks nice. Yeah, this place has had a long string of bad luck. Bad luck is one way to put. Hold that thought. I'm gonna pee. Dev waddles away, clearly having held it until he almost couldn't anymore. Cameron shakes his head, remembering all the rest stops they passed on the interstate. With a sigh, Cameron leans up against the Jeep, staring out across the lake. This really isn't bad at all, so far. Sure, they weren't in town yet, but all those dreams he had, all those terrible feelings, they seem silly now. It's just a small, former town with a sad history. If his brain was going to manifest something out of this, that something would just be sad. Cameron knows that his hallucinations aren't real. He knows that since he was a kid, after he first saw a monster in a raincoat in his trailer home. He also knows that ghosts aren't real either. But Devon believes, or at least wants to believe. He wants it so badly, and he thinks Cameron can see them. Cameron knows there's something extremely perverse and wrong about his disorder being used like this. Devon is also aware of this. Painfully aware of this. To the point that Cameron was able to tell days in advance that he was going to ask about taking him on this trip. And yeah, this is wrong, but the bear doesn't even think Cameron is mentally ill. Or at least, that's how it comes off to the coyote. Devon doesn't understand how it feels to struggle with reality, with the feeling that at any moment, you could lose it. That isn't his fault. Most people have a solid perception of reality, like a normal person should, and they take it for granted. That, and Cameron never really told him what it was like. So how could he understand? He told him a little bit, but he'd always been worried in the back of his mind that Dev would leave if he told him everything. So, Dev took those snippets of insight into Cameron's psyche and somehow interpreted it as him being gifted. It's been over 5 years at this point, and Dev had seen Cameron at his worst and at his absolute craziest, and somehow he'd stuck around and still believed the coyote was just a normal guy with some personal issues. Cameron hugged himself a little tighter, realizing that now is the time to really talk about it. And then, after this, they can have a fresh start in Bonnieville. Phew! I'm at least a 3 pounds lighter after that. You know, while I don't mind taking a piss in the wilderness, I'm not doing anything more than that. Yeah, I was kind of hoping there would be a porta potty or two around here, but it looks like we'll have to dig some hole. Dev! Whoa! Just kidding, babe. We can drive to the nearest rest stop. Huh. What's wrong? The coyote pauses, trying to get into the mindset this sure to be uncomfortable conversation is going to require. Just give me a sec. Cameron sees the bear's demeanor change instantly. Okay. But while I'm giving you that sec, I'm sorry for teasing you and being all gross. I know this isn't really where you want to be right now, and I was I was just trying to lighten the mood. And it's because I love you. Jesus Christ, stop! Ooh, wrong words, buddy-o. That was not what I wanted to talk about. One moment. There we go. So you can see both of you guys. Which one? Jesus Christ! Stop! Devon goes quiet and swallows, the sound comically audible. There's a pause, and though Cameron tries to keep a straight face, the tension just seems to break on its own. I would much rather hear you make poop jokes than act like that. What? Considerate? Sort of. You are considerate, just not in that weird, anxious way. Well, sue me for trying to be careful. I just don't want to say something stupid and... Cameron cuts the bear off, not wanting to put this off any longer. Just listen, and let me talk for a minute. I know you haven't said it, but let's just get it out in the open that I know you wanted me to be here for more than just company. I'm not that stupid. Oh. And I just want to say that I don't think this is a good idea because what I have is a mental disorder, not an ability. I know I shouldn't think of it that way, but I researched it and I just don't think it lines up with you having a mental... Dev cuts himself off as Cameron sighs deeply. Please don't. I'm sorry. Dev once again stops short as Cameron holds up his paw. But what's important is if this helps you, whether I think it's real or not, you've done a lot for me, and I want to be able to do something for you. No, what I think doesn't matter. What's most important is... So, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be your psychic for the weekend. Okay? Oh, wait. Really? Dev, I'm not spending the whole time role-playing like we're having a good, innocent time in that murder town. But I don't want to make you do something you don't... Oh, I want to. I might not like it, but I want to do it, if only for you. Cam... Nope, I made my decision, and I'm doing it. But just this once. Gotta lubricate the throat. If you're sure, but please don't put me ahead of you. And I did some research on that forum you linked me to a few years back, so my sixth sense is primed and ready. You're so cute. That seems to finally snap Devon out of his reluctance. Wait, seriously? There are so many people like you on that forum. Did you... Listen, I want you to find your answers. I really do. But I think the worst thing I could do is lie to make you feel better. I'm going to be completely honest about everything. Whether or not I see something. Of course, that's what I want. And that's why you shouldn't be getting your hopes up right now. I'm just telling you that I'm gonna try. The bear stares at Cameron for a few seconds, just smiling. What? I'm just glad I met you, and that we're together, and that you're here with me. Devon wraps an arm around Cameron, pulling him into his side as they both lean back against the Jeep. Hey, first picture. They're so fucking cute. But seriously, if you ever feel like, I don't know, you're just not into it, just let me know. Well, as long as you're not expecting anything, I think it'll be alright. Yeah. Dev goes on grinning and Cameron narrows his eyes. Because I'm getting the feeling that you're expecting a lot. Dev pauses, seeming to think. Well, I'm also happy that you're being more open like this. I'd always feel like you didn't want to talk about it. Cameron also thinks. I guess I just don't want to be told that what I see must mean something, you know? Yeah, that would get old pretty fast, but since we're talking about it now, does it not? Like, some of the things you mentioned that don't make sense, like that raincoat creature. But what about your old friend who, you know, got shot in the head after I hallucinated that someone shot him in the head? Yeah, that one. This is what I'm talking about. You and all of us really like to see meaning in everything. That we have a purpose in life, a reason. Reason, purpose, and the meaning of life means nothing to the universe. Everything just is. Whether it has meaning is up to us. Yeah, it's weird that I hallucinated the way he would die, but he was also involved in things that could have led to that. I knew he'd been dealing drugs in a really risky way, so I knew his life was in danger. I was on fucking ketamine. All the reason is there. Well, Dev shifts around, clearly uncomfortable and trying hard not to look that way. I get it, but there's a lot of other examples I could bring up. Maybe it's coincidence, but at some point, don't you have to wonder if maybe it's something else? Cameron sighs. Of course I have, but what always worries me about this paranormal stuff you're into and the afterlife and all that, it reminds me of my mom. Dev doesn't say anything, just waiting and listening. You know, towards the end, right before I left, she was usually amped up on something to stay awake for her 3 jobs. Whether it was amphetamines or meth, she barely slept. We had this box fan in our trailer, and one day, after she turned it on, she asked me if I could hear someone talking from the fan. I said no, but she sat next to it and listened, and eventually had this huge epiphany that it was God. And she did that for weeks, and that's almost all she did whenever she was home, listening to the fan talk to her. I'm not sure what all of it was saying to her. I don't even think I really understood what was going on. I just knew that sometimes stim addicts did that kind of stuff, especially when they don't sleep, you know? But then she started to look for specific shapes, arches, and half circles. This voice told her that she could get into heaven if she passed under the right one. But that voice also told her that Satan would trick her and with fake ones to make the real one harder to find. He pointed these out to me, how there were so many, and yeah, there were there, but when you look for these patterns, for something as simple as the shape of an arch? Cameron traces a finger along the arch of the wheel he's been leaning against. You're gonna find them. Eventually, she told me everything was warped. I guess she was so fucked up that these shapes just popped out at her. Like her brain was highlighting them and she couldn't ignore it. On the last day, she told me that even I looked like an arch and that she thought the devil had taken me. She looked completely done. She told me she'd be back to save me and that just walked out of the trailer. A few hours later, she drowned trying to swim under a bridge, and everyone in the trailer park kind of saw it as just another delusional druggie getting themselves accidentally killed. Cameron had told Dev his mother drowned in a river while on drugs, but not the terrible details. And the bear just wraps his arm tighter around Cameron. But I think it was a suicide. That she was just so tired of her shitty life that she bet on that bridge being the arch that would lead her to heaven, one way or another. So that's why I worry about following these patterns, even if it's just something like looking for UFOs or ghosts. Yeah, I think the meth and lack of sleep pushed her over the edge, but is there something genetic there too? What if I'm predisposed to it? I haven't used since the second month after I met you, but I still see shit. I'm just not delusional, at least not yet, but I worry. Dev clears his throat. I would never let that happen to you. I know I say stupid shit about it, but I know it could be dangerous. And I'm always looking out for you. Honestly, it's nice to hear that, because just letting my mom sit next to the fan for 3 hours straight every day, feeding on her delusions, was the dumbest thing I've ever done. But I was high on my own drug of choice because I just didn't care. But the thing is that even though that hell she was in, but the thing is that even though that hell she was in, she cared. I took too much a few times, and even though she was listening to her fan in her own world, sticking post-it notes to all the shapes she saw, she still noticed right away when my breathing wasn't right, and I woke up to her spraying Narcan up my nose. Cameron sees Devon tilt his head in question. It counteracts opioid overdoses, you know? But the thing is, my mom didn't like opioids. But the thing is, my mom didn't like the opioids because they made her nauseous. So that means she's got those nasal sprays just for me, just in case, even when I thought she was too absorbed in her own world to care. So it hurts to think about that night, how I just let her walk out of the trailer like that. Cameron takes another deep breath. He hadn't planned to even talk about his mom, but it just came out. Sorry, I'm rambling. Dude, do not be sorry. But it's part of why I am the way I am. I know my symptoms don't perfectly match up with what you've researched on the internet, but they're close enough. And honestly, maybe you're right. Maybe there's more after we die, and somehow I could help you find it. But if things go south, and if something's wrong with me, pull me back. Without the need to be mysterious, Allie's free to be more direct and clear. The man turns a pen into a javelin. This one, so raw and real, it hurts. Thinking about the shape of an arch still makes me feel sick. Like a reminder of what happened to her and what could happen to me. Wordlessly, Devon pulls Cameron into a hug and the coyote presses his head against his chest. At that moment, Cameron realizes then why so many people love their therapists. He'd always worried that Devon would get too weirded out by what happened when he was a teenager. That Devon would finally see all of his closet skeletons, neglected, abused, and so hopelessly addicted. Just like his mother. The definition of trailer trash. Cameron was all those things at some point in his life, but he knew that didn't matter to Devon. This is going so hard. 30 minutes in. Jesus Christ, I almost cried. Oh my god. When Comfy gets emotional, in character. Okay. After a while, Devon lets go and they start getting back in the Jeep, the bear feeling slightly shaky. Cameron opening up just now had been truly harrowing. Devon had known bits and pieces of his coyote's history, but to hear it like that, how he overdosed and almost... Dev shudders. He's just glad that the coyote is safe with him now, out of that hellhole. I'm happy that you guys are worried about me, and I remember how I was during the first echo, so yes, I will be taking hourly breaks. So at 7 o'clock, I'll take a 15-minute break. So that means in 30 minutes, I will take a 15-minute break to get some water, breathe, and cool down, so I don't overwhelm myself getting into character. Again, thank you guys for being in my community and watching out for me. As he's about to get in on his side of the Jeep, he stares out towards the town just a mile or so away. While Cameron had told him that this had all made him feel better, Devon was feeling more conflicted than ever. Everything that Cameron just told him practically screamed that this was a bad idea, that this wasn't good for him. Does it matter what he thinks about Cam's hallucinations? That his skimming of abnormal psychology literature about hallucinations led him to believe Cameron wasn't mentally ill? And yes, Anthemics and Pain Fox went all out on this, and I love the updated art style for Arches compared to the original Echo. I just personally I do love Pain. I love Pain Fox. Like Pain Fox's art style so much. I don't know what it is about the art style, but it's cartoony enough, but still feels correct somehow. I don't know how to explain it. It fits with this. It fits Echo somehow. No. How could he take him to Echo after hearing that? How could he ever drag him into this endless hunt for the truth ever again? Yet, at the same time, Cameron's telling him he wants to do this. Dev looks over the hood at Cameron, tapping his blunt claws against the soft top of the Jeep. Yeah, it's more holistic to the novel. It feels like a full package. If I could ever get Pain Fox to draw me in the Arches art style, like draw me as a PNG, I would love that so much. Hey Cam, what do you say we just keep going north? Check out the desert. You know, see what Bonneville might be like. See what the Mormons are really like. That could be fun. While he says this, there's a crushing feeling in his chest, dreading that Cameron might say yes, but at the same time, hoping that he will. I mean, with the way things are going, I don't even know if we'll be able to cross state lines in a few weeks. They're starting to shut everything down. But Cameron stares back at him before smirking. Oh no, this is something you've wanted to do for years. I mean, fuck me for dropping all that on you, right? Before we got there. But you know, I'm a procrastinator. I don't want you to feel guilty, but just be aware. And I kind of want to face my fears in a way, you know? I'm ready for this. And before Devon can say anything else, Cameron gets in. Dev looks over at the lake, actually not sure what he's about to do. If he was a good boyfriend, he'd drive away from this place. Cameron would yell, curse, and moan about how it took them 10 hours to get here. And Devon would shut him up with one of those sugary abominations from Starbucks protest. And he would never talk about Echo again. Also, the fact that Starbucks is canon in the Echo world. I know it's like this is an actual place. This is an actual place that they're like basing it off of. I'm just like, it's canon. Why can I see like the Otter Boy working at a Starbucks? My God. He would listen to Cameron and trust him about how it actually felt to see awful stuff. They'd move, get married, get a big house, and sooner or later Dev would get his answer, because everyone does at the end. As they pull out of the parking lot, he thinks he made his decision. But even as he tells himself he's going to turn left, back up the road they came, he turns right. Because just before he did, he sees a flash of pink in his mind's eye floating in the middle of a pond. And it's like someone hit him full force in the chest. Before he knows it, Echo is ahead of them. Honestly, yeah. Damn. Wait, hold up. Before we do anything. Okay, starting from the left to the right, it says Open Sesame, TB and RK, ACAB, Leave the Light On, Mole or Smoke, Baz, Rodriguez, ooh, Erami, Erami. I'm just looking at all, like, the art style just upgraded. What the heck? Actual backgrounds? Oh my God, we are not in Echo anymore. My goodness. I'm just like looking at like if there's any like hidden stuff. Like, wow. Oh, it's the plug face from from Echo right there in purple. And there's a raccoon on that one, or a cat, or a tiger. I'm not sure. Devon frowns as they pull into the parking lot of the motel, staring at the graffiti-covered walls. The cartoonish caricatures have a way of cheapening this experience, like this is only a stupid haunted house attraction. So, this is home base, huh? Devon rubs the back of his head, feeling self-conscious after talking this place up for so long. It didn't look this bad in the pictures. People never have respect for stuff like this. I don't think it looks bad. I love street art like this. And it just makes me feel less alone. Like, a lot of people have been here and we're just fine. Actually, keep an eye out in case one of them is lurking around. All that graffiti artists I knew were really nice. It's not nice to do it in a place where a bunch of people get killed. Well, I think a lot of people would disapprove of what we're doing. And I know you're nice. So just lighten up a little. Socket. It's socket flame. It's flame, guys. It's plug face. Hello, Kayla. Ow! Jeez. Cameron walks past the bear, slapping him hard on the ass as he does. Devon raises an eyebrow, not sure what to make of Cameron's high spirits. They just had one of the heaviest conversation of their relationship. And, well, maybe that's why. The song is monochrome. That's so nice. I'm going to test something out real quick, guys, just to be safe. Yep, we still have surprise dog. All right, we're prepared. Well, maybe that's why. If Cameron was feeling more comfortable being honest and open with Dev, then that could only be a good thing in the bear's mind. After returning a much harder ass slap that makes Cameron yelp, the bear joins him in exploring the area. considering that the motel is supposed to be the most haunted building in Echo, Dev had thought it would be a good idea to set up base here. Specifically in room 12, but most of the numbers are missing and most of the heavy metallic doors are locked. Even though they're all dented from what looks to be the result of literal battering rams. Well, they sure seem to care a lot about boarding up the place. They probably got tired of dumbasses crawling in and getting hurt. Yeah, but luckily, I'm not a dumbass. Hey, what about me? Well, I don't think a music degree will help us in this situation, but you're still pretty smart. Oh, shit. That's right. You majored in mechanical engineering, and you work at the most valuable industrial automation company in the country. Yep. Devon is a little taken aback by just how cold Cameron's response is. Well, go on. Your classes in dynamics and calculus based on physics should figure this out for us. Cameron's voice drips with sarcasm, and Dev can only assume he's making fun of the way the bear had tried to impress him with his coursework during their first dates. But Devon tries to salvage the earlier, good-natured mood. Well, I probably break those boards as long as I move my fists at high velocity. You see, the amount of kinetic energy. Dev's half-hearted teasing trails off. He never much liked the outright disdain his fellow STEM students had for the arts and soft sciences. It's just that it would get Cameron riled up, and that was funny in college. Now Devon just feels like a dick. Besides, Cameron's ability to understand and play music is basically magic to the bear. Devon's grasp of music is surface level, and he's slightly tone deaf to boot. Cameron wouldn't ever point this out. He'd just sing along and attempt to harmonize. And while Devon had been offered his six-figure salary career before he even graduated, he had to watch Cameron's dreams of working in the music industry slowly evaporate over the past 3 years. Now, Cameron is working at a call center he hates. The bear had taught himself to be smart in college. Yeah, he did all right. But now he's becoming more aware of what a dumbass he is when it comes to communicating with actual people, with his literal boyfriend. He needs to apologize for this one. The bear clears his throat. Yo, Cam. Dev shuffles up to the coyote before he can say anything. Cameron just points at the door. See? Number 8. And the door over there is number 3. So, counting in this direction, Cameron's frosty demeanor is completely gone. 10, 11, and room number 12. And would you know it? It's open. Ah, sweet. Thanks. I went to college. Now, I'll go in first to make sure everything's clear. Of what? I don't know. Squatters? Well, get ready to find a dead squatter because how the hell would they survive? Actually, you just reminded me that there are a couple of creeps that live here, like stubborn locals that won't leave. At least that's what a post said from like 2 years back. What? What? I don't like the sound of that. Are they dangerous? From what I gathered, they're more of a get off my lawn variety of creep. Those types can still be dangerous. If no one's been killed by them yet, and then I think we're good. But like I said, I'll look out for you. Dev lets a mock growl. I'll make him permanent residents of Echo. And by that I mean dead ones. Devon. Now Devon can tell that the coyote really is upset. What's wrong, babe? You told me no one lived here. You said that a bunch of times. Cameron, it came up so few times on the forum, and the posts I remember were really mundane. I honestly just forgot. All right. Devon stares at the coyote, waiting, but he doesn't say anything. Cameron, is there anything you want to tell me? If there is, I'm still hoping you'll be open like you said. I know. Hey, it's all good, man. It's not like I'm expecting you to just share everything on your mind now, but I'm here to listen if you want to talk. It's just hard to explain. I guess the fact that there are real people still living here does make it a little scarier. Does it have to do with the dreams you were having? Dev watches Cameron closely, but he does seem genuinely confused himself. Kind of, but they were weird. I don't think they really meant anything. Yeah, I'm just overreacting. I just really don't want to have the deliverance experience on top of the ghost, you know? I get you. And there's nothing wrong with being I get you. And there's nothing wrong with being vigilant. My friend from Southland, the one from the town even more haunted than Echo, he said something horrific happens between a backpacker and an outback redneck every other year or so. How comforting. But while I was sort of joking earlier, if anyone tries anything, I will do what needs to be done to stop them. Dev doesn't tell Cameron that in that moment, he kind of does wish he'd gone through with getting a gun for protection. If those men are still around, the bear has no doubt they have plenty of guns. Well, let's not think about that because it's not going to happen. Unless they are squatting in that room. Not for long. Ugh. The bear exaggerated bravado becomes genuinely cautious as he opens the door. Ugh. The room is hotter than it is outside, as if it were magnifying and trapping the heat. Okay, yeah, this is doable. Hey Cam, all clear. Aw, no no murderous hillbillies in the... Oh, gross. What were you expecting? We just need to straighten it out a bit. Look, there's even a mattress over there. Wait, we're gonna use it for sleeping? Or anything? Wait. We're not gonna use it for sleeping or anything, are we? Why do you think I brought sheets? Oh, I'm not sleeping in... Kidding. I already told you I have a room booked in Payton. And we better use it, no matter how... And we better use it, no matter how into this you get. Of course, but we might as well make this place as comfortable as we can anyway. Cameron is quiet, and Dev turns to see him staring at a plethora of rusty nails on the ground around the window and mattress. Your tetanus shot's up to date, right? That's a great question. Yeah, great. Just don't puncture yourself on anything. I'll try to clean those up at least. They didn't cover the window? What the fuck? No, that's horrifying. That's more horrifying than anything else. What the hell? Good call. I need to update my shot. Yeah, man, everyone just update their tetanus shots, please. It's very nifty to know when you got your last tetanus shot. My goodness. This game's already stressing you out? We're just in the beginning, Mora. Cameron watches Dev step back, brushing his paws against each other loudly. Well, I'd say that's rather cozy, don't you think? I've seen actual homes that look worse, so yeah, I say so. Cameron eyes the couch and slowly sits on the edge, not quite trusting it despite the sheets. Now you gonna head to bed, Akira? Well, have a good night. Get some rest. Hopefully not in this building. Honestly, I'm just more interested that they did new backgrounds. Like, it's no longer the blurry, like, stock photo backgrounds that I see in most visual novels. You'll stay for another hour or two? All right, that's up to you. So, what do you know about paranormal investigation? You said you did your research. Turns out you just run around with a flashlight and call the ghost a bitch. Hey, that's what I do. Good one. Damn, sorry. Didn't Damn, sorry. Didn't know the reality show ghost hunts were such a sore spot for you. They single handedly ruined the credibility of actual investigations. Well, they brought it more attention, right? Anyway, all I really know is that what you do, EVP stuff and taking pictures, just sitting around and waiting, stuff like that. That's a start. Actually, I was thinking you'd deal with most of that stuff, so what I mainly researched had to do with those who are gifted. It's almost physically impossible for the coyote to use the word to describe people like him. Oh, yeah. I wanted to say earlier how happy I was you'd looked through that forum. It must be annoying just hearing me go on about it when I don't even experience it. No, you're fine, Dev. Actually, Cameron much preferred to hear it from Dev. Half of the people on the forums were clearly liars with a savior complex, and then the other half were contacting these assholes to help communicate with a dead loved one. Cameron couldn't stomach it and just ended up looking at a blog that seemed a bit more legit. So, what did you find out? The way the bear is lit up now that they're talking about it, investigating reminds Cameron that he needs to at least try. Well, according to these psychics, it's pretty simple if you have the extra sense. First, approach the location with clear intentions. I'm here to see or hear something from the past. Second, keep an open mind, which is something I promise to do. And finally, if you sense the presence is hostile, always remember that it can hurt you. In these cases, they might not actually be a person. I wouldn't worry about demon shit. Even I have a hard time believing in that. Hey, there's something we can agree on. Now, I'm gonna go out on a limb in here and assume something terrible happened in this room. Why else look for a specific room, right? I don't want you to tell me what happened, but I also assume this is a bit of a test. Well, I don't want to call it a test. I'm going to be recording and looking for a thing that happened in this room too. Just thought you might want to see if you sense anything and compare it with what actually happened. I think that's a good idea. I'm just going to do some light touch sensing, I think they call it. So I won't see anything, but just sense what might have happened. But tell me if you feel if things aren't right. Of course. But tell me if you feel things aren't right. Of course. I'll be fine. All right. I'll get started. We won't go super late tonight. Just want to get a feeling for things. Sure. I'll get started by opening my mind and making my intentions clear. Okay, babe. I love you. Devon leans in and kisses Cameron on the head. Then Cameron watches as Dev turns off the lantern, plunging them into darkness. Oh my god. I don't like this. The crickets stopped. Lugging around equipment while trying to be quiet about it quickly gets Devon sweating through his shirt, and he has to take it off. He's making the extra effort not to disturb the coyote because Cameron seems to be really trying, his eyes closed and ears up. Dev didn't even need to ask him to take out his phone so he could record audio. He just did it. And to Devon, that just proved how much Cameron wanted to do this. And Dev goes about testing his equipment. Cameron shifts and mumbles something. Dev perks up. Titty. Hey, hun, I'm right here. You alright? I need to get more comfortable. At the same time, he adjusts himself so that his feet are on the suitcase in front of him. Damn, Bear. Okay, I'm good. No, okay. Something about Cameron's demeanor is bothering Dev. And Cameron's words were a little slurred, and he does seem kind of not quite there. Should he pull him out of it? Devon has never seen a psychic in action before, so maybe this is normal? Like a trance? He hopes it's normal, because even if Devon can't find his answers. He'd give them up for Cameron to discover he isn't psychotic. As he's fiddling with his EMF sensor, dread suddenly clutches at his chest. What if the opposite happened? And Cam really did lose his mind? Like when his mom got psychosis. If that happens, Dev is only now realizing that he would be responsible. And how could Cameron forgive him for that? How could he forgive himself? Shit! Dev hisses under his breath. The fuck is he doing? Bringing his boyfriend to this room where that happened? He was usually was alone or with friends when doing these investigations, and his want to see something always overpowered that fear. He just assumed Cam would be used to scary shit, especially after he described that flat-faced creature in a raincoat that he'd been seeing since he was a kid. He just assumed. Why was it only now that he's realizing what the consequences could be? The feeling he'd had earlier about being a social dumbass comes back, but far stronger. This isn't something a loving partner does to another partner. He's fucking using Cameron for his own selfish reasons. Devon knows that the coyote had some kind of ESP ability, but that doesn't mean he didn't also have other issues that could fuck him up. That didn't mean that possibly seeing those awful things wouldn't cause him to develop more issues. Devon gets up and paces a bit, beginning to make up his mind, deciding that right after this, they're done, no matter what. The bear looks at the closet, the one where the wolf from Mesta Tribal Council hung himself in the early 90s. If only he could see one thing, just one sliver of proof that she's okay on the other side, and be at peace with all this. Dev lets out a shuddering sigh, standing in the closet, looking at the bar, wondering if it's the same one the wolf used. Devon feels something. Not a good something. A chill runs up his spine and suddenly he's shivering. No way. It's actually happening. Holy shit, holy shit. It's all he can manage to say. It's happening, but it feels so wrong. Then a fear that he'd never known before takes over. He wants to turn around. He wants to call out to Cameron, but it's like something is around his neck, holding him in place. And then he hears a terrible sound behind him. Cameron knows something is happening for sure. It's scary, but at the same time, it's making him question what he'd always believed. Had Devon been right about this stuff? Had he just misunderstood himself for so long, he could sense someone, nothing like the monster he'd seen in the past. Instead, this was a man in a suit with a bolo tie. He was sad. He was angry. He was terrified. Cameron knew this was often what psychics describe when talking about sensing people from the past. You feel their most intense moment in life. This man, this wolf, he's going to do something terrible. And while Cameron is marveling over this, the wolf suddenly changes. At the same time, Cameron feels his focus turn to him. This gives the coyote pause because now this presence is trying to interact with him. Was this right? Cameron thinks it could be, but something doesn't feel right about this. This isn't what he thinks it is. But he supposes that anyone doing this for the first time would feel it to be strange. Maybe he was doing the light sensing wrong. The point is to listen to the past like a recording. This direct communication is scaring the coyote, but this could be his chance to answer Dev's question and his own question for that matter. I'm sorry to bother you. What's after death? Where do we go? It feels stupid and clumsy, but it's all that comes to his mind. So Cameron asks it over and over. There's a long, empty pause. And then there's something like a cackle. It almost sounds fake, like a Halloween toy, but it's dark, mean, and it's making fun of him. Oh God, it scared me. Fuck. All the feelings of wonder and hope for a breakthrough are deflated instantly. He needs Dev. He needs to open his eyes. Cameron's eyes are heavy. He can barely focus. Something has gone terribly wrong. The presence is evil, malicious. Isn't a person. Now all the coyote can sense is that profound tragedy has taken place. He needs Devon. He thinks he sees him as his vision begins to slowly focus. Whoa! At first, Cameron doesn't understand what he's seeing. How is Dev standing like that? Why isn't he moving? He realizes why over the next few seconds. The unnatural way Dev's weight seems to pull up at his neck says it all. Cameron starts screaming, but it's weak, muffled, barely a wheeze from his throat, and he can't move. Paralysis. This isn't real. This is a sleep paralysis, but something about this is so fucked, so real. He couldn't have fallen asleep. He's almost positive about that. But even if he had, his boyfriend could actually be hanging himself while the coyote sits uselessly on the couch. Terror begins to engulf him. How could this happen? How could he do this? How? Cameron tries screaming again, but again it's just a wheeze of breath. He stares at Devon's contact image instead of Devon's dead in the closet. They took that picture in college 5 years ago, and just a month into their relationship. At the time, okay, bye, Akira. It was a token to show his other gay friends to prove he had a boyfriend, and he was a handsome bear. He never changed it, and even though he had no one to show it off to anymore, how the hell did they end up here? The phone picks up and switches to speaker automatically. Cameron knows deep down that this must be a dream, but Devon is still hanging in the closet. He's overcome by horror. I'm sorry. I left that on too long for people to see. I'm so sorry. And the worst part of it is real. It makes Cameron try and fail to scream again. You want to know, like... Cameron stares at the phone, unable to understand through the static, but able to recognize the voice. You said you wanted to know, like, to die. I'd say it's like drowning forever. Conscious forever while you suffocate for what made you happy when you were alive. Then again, you don't believe in anything, so that you really want to know is what it's like to disappear. Because you're scared. You tell yourself you want to. That you wish your mom didn't save your worthless life. That you deserve it. Now you tell yourself that if it weren't for me, you'd have ended it things back in college. We both know that's a lie. Because you're a fucking coward. You'll stay alive as long as you can be with someone who keeps you alive. I could be treated like absolute shit for the past 5 years and you'd still be around today. You fucking begged Dylan not to leave you. Just 3 weeks after he punched you and gave you that scar. You're the one you said you got from falling against a cabinet. You're sick. Meanwhile, you let me put you in this situation. You said you wanted it. Do you still want it? No, please, God, no. Cameron can't even move his lips. Anyway, I'm getting a little off topic, aren't I? You want to know what the afterlife is like? I'll give you an idea. Devon's voice becomes more muffled. Yo, Lupita, tell my boyfriend what it's like. It's quiet for a moment, and Cameron just sits in stunned misery, just waiting. A terrible demonic scream screeches through the phone, and Cameron's fur bristles all over his body, and he fights this prison that he's in with everything he has, and finally breaks free. It takes Devon a moment to realize the terrible sound is coming from Cameron. He's never heard him make a sound like that before. At that moment, whatever it is that has a hold on the bear dissolves, and Devon turns around, heaving for breath. When Dev looks at him, he sees Cameron's eyes wide open. Cameron! Cameron makes that sound again. Though Devon has no idea what Cameron's seeing, he knows that it's something terrible. Devon feels himself beginning to panic. Baby, please! What's happening? Cameron just stares back and Devon finally snaps. Cameron! Devon is stepping out of the closet when suddenly Cameron lunges off the couch, making a feral sound. The look in the coyote's eyes is so intensely unlike him that Devon draws back in fear. Honey, it's me! To Dev's shock, Cameron's paws fly to the bear's neck, but instead of squeezing like he thinks he's gonna do, they rip at the thick fur there. Wait! Stop! Devon managed to catch Cameron's paws in his own much larger paws, easily restraining the smaller male. Cameron continues to stare at Devon's neck, seeming to search intently. Then he looks up at Dev's face. I saw you dead! You called me, and you screamed at me! And though Devon doesn't understand, he can tell this wasn't one of Cameron's typical night terrors. The look on his face says it all. Fuck! I'm really, really sorry. I'm driving you to Painted right now, or wherever the hell you want to go. But as Devon tries to pull him to the door, Cameron resists. Wait, just let me catch my breath, okay? Okay. Just take deep breaths, okay? Devon fumbles with the lantern until he turns it on. Then he stands next to Cameron for a few moments, listening to him sob. Can I at least hold you, please? Cameron leans forward towards him as an answer. While Dev strokes his head, Cameron starts to rub his back, like he knows that Dev had been terrified too. I'm fine. It was just really intense. The vision. I'm sorry. I never seen you like that before. You scared the absolute shit out of me. Did you think I was attacking you? Huh? You were going after my neck, sort of. Oh, no, I saw you hanging in the closet. Cameron's breath hitches in his chest. Like, from your neck. Oh, shit. Yeah, and it was so fucking real. They hold each other in silence for a while, Devon mulling over what Cameron just told him. Devon no longer has doubts that Cameron is psychic, but right now, that doesn't matter. He just wants the coyote to feel safe again. Devon? Yeah, honey? I think you're right. What about? Something happened. And I don't know if it's ghost or whatever the hell else that could have been, but that wasn't just me. I never felt or seen things like that before. There's more than me being crazy. There has to be. We can talk about this when we're in Peyton, okay? Dev, I promise to be honest with you, and I need to tell you something now, otherwise I probably never will. What is it? Dev's heart starts to pound as he sees the look on Cameron's face. Lupita wasn't this vision, Dev. But please believe me when I say that I don't think it was really her, but... What? Cameron hesitates. Cameron, please, tell me. I'm really sorry, but I heard her, and it was awful, and... I don't know. It was just a scream. It was horrible. The floor seems to fall out from under Devon, and he feels like he's falling into an abyss. We're pausing. We're taking 15 minutes. We're taking 15 minutes. Yeah, no. Oh boy. We're taking 15 minutes. We'll be right back. Switch. Okay. All right. I breathe it out. I got some water. Oh my god. Yeah. I again apologize for not censoring it immediately as soon as that scene came up. I apologize for that, everyone. Oh my god. I'm going to fix the censor so it just covers at least the top half and not just the words. So give me 1 second as we go back in. 1 second. Thank you for the care package. Give me 1 moment. Oh boy. So I'm just gonna at least. I don't think this helps for some reason. Yeah, no, this is not helping. No, we'll do this. For the sensors. So now my room might as well be censored, honestly. Just as hot in my room right now. Okay. Then he's out. Also, thank you, Kayla, for the care package. I will stretch a little bit of water because I have it in a small cup. I need to start buying glasses glasses for drinks because for some reason, whenever it's in a mug or something that is not see-through, I forget to drink it. So yeah. All right, everyone can hear me? We're all good? All right. That was, to say the least, very intense. Honestly, that was very intense. Okay. All right. Cameron watches as the motel parking lot disappears into the night. Yeah, we're just gonna take a deep breath. It is hot in my room. We're all good. We're all good, Am. We've now left the hotel room and on our way to Payton right now after that intense scene. They had left most of their stuff behind in the room, only bringing along what they absolutely needed. Cameron had wanted to take it a bit slower to think things over before running away like this. But weirdly enough, it was Devon that was ushering him out as quickly as he could. Well, no, it made sense. What was truly weird was how Cameron had felt. How he feels now. Despite what had just happened, despite the absolute horror of it all, there's a part of Cameron that still wants to stay. Cameron has to assume that this is nothing like what Dev had seen in his previous investigations. My dogs are barking in the background, and I'm so sorry. Oh my god. My dogs are still barking in the background. Sorry, guys. Cameron has to assume that this was nothing like what Dev has seen in his previous investigations. That maybe he also felt that overwhelming feeling of wrongness. But it also feels wrong to just leave after hearing what he had heard. He'd expected Dev to want to stay there, stay after Cameron told him about Lupita. And if Dev had asked him to stay, Cameron would have done so, if only to search for better closure after hearing her scream. Despite Dev's calm appearance, Cameron knows this. Cameron knows that his mind must be in turmoil right now. Now, with the night ending like this, he thinks that maybe he shouldn't have told Dev what he heard. Yeah, he promised to be honest about it, but the hallucination, no, the vision felt like a lie somehow. A trick. It felt real. It happened, but it also felt like something nefarious was behind it all. He felt it when the wolf focused on him, as if that unseen something had taken the wheel and started steering things where it wanted them to go. Even if he has no idea what that something could be, Cameron hopes that's the case. The alternative is that the afterlife really is only suffering, and that would mean his mother is in the same place. That everyone's going to that place. Cameron squirms in his seat, the feeling of a suffocating dread creeping up underneath his neck. Drowning forever. Cameron suddenly turns to look at his boyfriend, unable to deal with the awkward silence any longer. Devon? Devon tilts his head slightly in Cameron's direction, brow raised to show he's listening. Yeah, honey? He doesn't take his eyes off the road. Either because it's nighttime, or more likely because of what they just dealt with, the bears being notably cautious. Still, there's a sense of urgency in his driving, like he's trying to get out of there as fast as he can. Cameron struggles to find the right words. Hey, let's talk when I get on the freeway, okay? Just gotta focus right now. Cameron can wait until then. Are we coming back? Cameron sees Dev's brow raised again, this time in surprise. No, of course not. We're done. I'm an idiot for doing this in the first place, and again, I'm sorry. Cameron can't quash the feeling that he should be the one apologizing right now. But there's a theme park in Baden called Southwest Adventures. I thought about going there at the end of our investigation, but we could do that tomorrow instead. Dev pauses, apparently waiting for a response, but Cameron can't think of one to give him. I think it will be fun. Cameron is almost certain that the same word Devon just used just before they left to describe how this investigation would feel. Fun. I think we need to come back. We can't just leave things like that. That was just so fucked. Cameron sees Dev grit his teeth, and the coyote feels himself recoil a bit, like he did on a daily basis with Dylan. Sorry, No, you're fine. I'm just having trouble seeing the goddamn road. These two may be a refreshing, loving couple compared to a certain other otter and wolf, but their back and forth reverse psychologies on each other can make you want to move their heads. Yeah, I am. Honestly, yeah, no, I feel you on that one. Like, Jesus. No, you're fine. I'm just having trouble seeing the goddamn road. Let's just leave it until I can see where I'm going, okay, hon? The coyote steels himself. He shouldn't ever feel afraid of Devon, but he shouldn't ever feel afraid of Devon. He doesn't need to. I think we should come back tomorrow. Keep this going like you planned. There's something more to this, and I want to help find out what it is. He says it firmly, in a way that he hopes shows Devon that he's not completely fragile. even if he did break down in the motel room. But Devon is quiet, and Cameron feels himself start to get a little frustrated that he's being ignored. But then the bear responds. No, I don't think so. I'll probably come back, but with another psychic. I'm not gonna put you through that ever again. Despite knowing Dev meant nothing by that, Cameron feels offended. Like Devon doesn't think he's good enough or strong enough to do this. But I want to, especially if you're just gonna come back. You think I'm just gonna sit at home knowing you're back out in this hellhole? Listen, Cameron, I've been to a lot of haunted places, but there's something different about this town that feels really off, fucked, like you said. I don't want you anywhere near it. Now, it's Cameron's turn. Now it's Cameron who grits his teeth. But I want to! Do you still want it? I know you need to find answers, but after feeling what I felt, I need answers too. Dev's careful maneuvering along the broken road hits a pothole and the interior shakes. Devon winces. Babe, please, let's talk about this later. I just want us to get to Payton safely right now. And just like that, Cameron's determination dries up. He hates himself for being such a coward. Things have always felt unequal in their relationship, but it was rare for Dev to just say it out loud. To tell the coyote what's good for him, and even though Cameron told him what he wanted. It's nothing like it was with Dylan, but the feeling is similar, and Cameron doesn't like that. Well, what if I don't want you to come back here either? Devon takes a deep breath, but manages to keep calm. Then we can talk about it when we're safely back home. Cameron goes quiet again. They're halfway past the lake, the body of water looking like a giant dark pit, except where the moon glitters on its surface. And that's when Cameron sees something out of the corner of his eye. There's something on the road between two craters of broken asphalt. Cameron stares for several seconds, not sure if he's seeing what he thinks he's seeing. He waits for Dev to say something, to wonder what the hell that is in front of them, but he says nothing, almost like he doesn't see it. Yet, there it is, right in front of them. And it's right where Devon is about to go, and the bear isn't stopping. Cameron manages to jerk himself out of his stunned daze. Oh my god, Dev, look! Huh? Dev finally looks at Cameron, his eyes off the road, and still the Jeep moves forward. Stop! Why isn't he stopping? The coyote does the first thing that comes to mind. Time slows down. It's just what happened back in high school, right before he got hit by a car while skateboarding. He has more time to react now than he did then, though, and he slides his arm under his seatbelt to get free and reaches across the center console. He grabs the wheel, and even though Dev is starting to brake, it's not fast enough, and they're less than 20 feet away from hitting it. The coyote doesn't even think, acting on pure instinct. Cameron turns the wheel to the right hard. Devon can't comprehend what Cameron's doing before they hit something, and the jolt is far worse than any pothole he had hit on the road. Devon is thrown into his seatbelt. In his back of the mind, he's aware that Cameron is half out of his own seatbelt. Driven by what feels like pure reflex, Devon throws his arms across the coyote in an attempt to hold him back. Cameron's muzzle meets the bear's thick arm before his forearm smacks into the screen of the head unit. A numbing, tingling feeling explodes across his entire arm. Ah, fuck! Dev brings his arm to his chest, cradling it as he winces. Are you alright? Cameron's breathless voice next to him is enough to reassure Dev that the coyote isn't seriously injured. The airbags hadn't even deployed, even though the impact had felt serious. Yeah, just my funny bone. What about you? Let me see your face. Dev tries to grab Cameron's muzzle to have a closer look at him. It's hard to see with only the glow of the Jeep's headlights now dimmed from the swirling dust kicked up by the accident. But Cameron pulls away, opening his door to get out. Cameron, what? The coyote yells as he seems to lose his footing immediately and falls hard. Cam! Dev unbuckles his seatbelt and almost tries to climb out of Cameron's side of the Jeep. Then, realizing what he's doing, opens his own door to get out, almost falling himself as his feet touch uneven ground. Dust coats his mouth as he looks up at the road, and immediately he can still see Echo from here. He knew this was going to happen, that something was going to prevent them from getting out. He could feel it since he started driving. He just didn't expect Cameron to be the one to do it. The Jeep is tilted forward, the front wheels wedged into a deep trench covered by years of flooding along the edge of the road. Dev stumbles around to the front of the Jeep, squinting against the headlights before looking down where Cameron had fallen. But he only sees blackness. Cameron! He starts to panic, seriously considering that the coyote might have fallen to the sinkhole, but then, over here! Dev looks towards the road, the dust finally clearing, and sees that Cameron is already there, standing in the middle of it, looking around confused, like he's lost something. What the fuck are you doing? Dev stumbles back around the Jeep, just wanting to get the coyote back inside so he doesn't go running off somewhere. The bear already suspects that Cameron is having a mental breakdown, and if they didn't get the hell out of here soon, Dev thinks he just might join him. I saw someone! Cameron, slow down. Let me see your face. It almost broke my arm. No, I know I did! Cameron ignores Dev's paw that are reaching out towards him and starts walking up the road, looking back and forth. Cam! Ugh! The stress of the accident on top of seeing his boyfriend walking back towards the evil town is too much for Devon. He grabs Cameron's arm, forcing him to turn around fully and face. What the hell are you doing? Cameron flinches and raises his arm, crossing one wrist over the other, covering his face like he thinks Dev is going to... Cameron? What? But the coyote just lowers his arms, looking at the ground, looking around again. I saw something. Someone. It was like a little kid sitting on the road. Didn't you see him? Devon wants to ask why Cameron acted like he was going to hit him, but the coyote is in such clear distress that the bear isn't sure what to say. Then Cameron looks at the Jeep as if seeing what happened for the first time. Shit! I didn't mean to crash the car! I swear I saw someone, and I wouldn't do it on purpose! Cameron's breath starts to become erratic, gasping for air. Honey, come here. I can't breathe! Dev wraps his arms around the coyote even as he starts to try and pull away. Let go! I need to go! Listen, Cameron, breathe with me. Dev presses the side of Cameron's head to his chest and takes a deep breath. Remember, in and out, slowly. Devon keeps his voice upbeat, his expression cheerful, the complete opposite of what he's actually feeling right now. But showing how distressed he is clearly isn't helping the situation. So, this breathing exercise is also for his benefit. The last time they'd done this was at least a few years ago now. I need to go. They are. And just like the last time, it seemed to work. The coyote fighting his gasping for a minute before his breathing becomes more steady, albeit a little shaky. They breathe in unison for a few minutes, the bear stroking Cameron's head like he had only half an hour ago in the motel room. Was it really only 2 hours ago that he'd been giddy at the thought of a paranormal investigation with his psychic boyfriend? Finally, Cameron pulls away gently. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. You said you thought you saw someone. I thought I did. I didn't mean to fuck up your car, though. Well, if you thought you saw someone, then I'm glad you did that. Considering how slow we were going, I'd rather the car run into dirt than run over somebody. Now, just hold still for a second so I can check you out. You face planted into my arm pretty hard back there. Dev gently turns Cameron towards the headlights of the still running car, lightly running his blunt claws through his fur. I thought it was an otter. I could see the tail and everything. Oh no, we ran over Chase. Oh no. Oh my god, whatever shall we do? You hear that sarcasm? It's just great. One of Dev's claws grazes over a small lump under Cameron's fur on the bridge of his snout. The coyote winces. Does that hurt? A little bit. I didn't notice until now. That's probably from my elbow. What about your arm? Are you sure it's all right? Cameron starts doing his own check of Devon's arm. Dude, my arm is Ow! Ow! The bear yelps as Cameron prods right into the spot that is suddenly becoming very sore. Did that hurt much? Did that hurt that much? Not really. Just surprised me. Really? Yep, see? Bending it without pain. Yeah, I believe you. Just be careful with it. Cameron sighs, looking back at the Jeep. I'm going crazy. The relief Devon had felt after seeing Cameron returning to his usual snarky self deflates at those words. What? No, you're not. We're both on edge right now. Well, it really did feel like I was losing my mind for a minute there. Thanks for helping me. Of course. Now, just gotta check out the damage. Yeah. The back wheels aren't even touching the ground. Well, I have a better look. I'll have a better look. Hang tight, babe. All right. Devon starts to analyze the status of the Jeep, and he can tell right away that they aren't going anywhere. Both the front wheels are almost buried in the sandy trench below, and both of the back wheels are definitely off the ground. The undercarriage balanced on the road's edge. Still, Dev gets in and, after telling Cam to stand clear, very gently tries to back out. The bear winces at the scraping sounds from the metal undercarriage, realizing how desperate he is to get out of here, considering how hopelessly stupid this attempt is. We're all mad at Chase, but he had his entire childhood stolen by ghosts, and only in Flynn's route he is spared after setting half the town on fire. You're right. Honestly, you're right. Fuck the ghost. What we're really mad is at the ghost, if anything. Not Chase. Chase, innocent baby boy who did not deserve some of the things that the ghost made him do. After realizing he's only spinning the wheels deeper into the dirt, he stops. The bear turns off the engine, sighing and pressing his head against the steering wheel. Sure, suck that his Jeep is probably all fucked up now, but he can easily afford another one. He deserves none of them. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. Echo really fucked them all up. The ghost fucked them all up at a very young age. And yeah, Chase didn't deserve any. None of them deserve any of it. And yeah. More than anything, he just wanted to be out of Echo. He thinks back on how strange it was that Cameron immediately tried to convince him that he didn't do it on purpose. Devon didn't need to be convinced because he hadn't even considered that was the case. But because of how he brought it up, Devon quickly shuts that down, deciding that now isn't the time for shitty thoughts like that. Finally, the bear gets out, fixing a smile on his face again so Cameron won't feel so bad. All right, so, Cameron? Dev looks around. To his dismay, spots the coyote a ways up the road towards Echo again, though he's standing off to the side, right next to the lake. He's looking over the edge, down at the water. Hey, Cameron, you all right? The bear jogs up to the coyote, putting an arm around him. You all right? Cameron finally turns to look at the bear. Oh, yeah. Just stay next to me, all right? I want you to be close after everything that's happened. I was just trying to stay out of your way. Out of the way. Are you looking for something? Dev looks over the edge of the murky water below. Almost immediately after, the bear instinctively pulls back, taking Cameron with him. Yeah, just thought that because otters are good swimmers, that maybe... Cameron lets out a fake laugh. Sorry, I'm crazy. Don't mind me. They all still deserve one slap. Comfy gets one free slap to all the Echo crew. Yes! Thank you. Come on, don't do that. Cameron goes quiet. Seeing just how unhappy Cameron is, the bear takes a deep breath, deciding to tell him. Back in the early 2000s, an otter kid drowned in this lake. I wonder if that's maybe who you saw. Really? Yeah. Along with a few dozen other people over the last 70 years. I have a list I have a list for the lake and other places we were gonna go. So you're saying I saw that because I'm psychic? You don't seem very thrilled with that idea. I'm not thrilled with any of this anymore. It only reminds Dev that Cameron could see anything, terrible things, and that could lead to more mental anguish for his boyfriend. Anyway, we are stuck pretty badly. What do we do? Don't worry, we got options. We'd want to get to the highway, but it's a bit of a walk. Think about 4 or 5 miles. That might be a bit too much with it being dark and on a half-destroyed road. I think we should try to get a little bit of sleep, then start walking at dawn. We'll have light, and if we keep up a good pace, we'll get to the highway before it gets too hot and be able to flag down help. Cameron is quiet. So, what do you think? Remember a while back when I asked that what we'd do if there was an emergency? You said there was still cell service in parts of the town. Did I? Yeah, Dev. Yeah, Dev. You know what I'm talking about. It makes way more sense to find cell service right next to us and call for help rather than walk 5 miles. I don't think it makes much sense at all, Cameron. We were looking for trouble, Devon. I think we'll be fine as long as I'm not trying to see shit. But you just saw... It's silent for a few excruciating seconds. Ugh! I just want to get the fuck out of here and get you home. Cameron's ears twitch as Dev raises his voice, which seems to reverberate in the silence. But the coyote just goes on standing there, arms crossed like they almost always were. Yeah, psychic or not, I'm unstable. We both know that already. No! But I'm not walking miles through scorpion and rattlesnake infested desert when our solution is right here. Babe, please, I have a bad feeling. Sorry, who's the psychic here? Dev, I can do this. Trust me. This is not Cameron speaking. We're outside where nothing's haunted. And we won't be looking for anything, so I'm going. Cameron! I'd prefer you came with me, though. God damn it! Devon hurries to catch up with his boyfriend, sliding his paw into Cameron's and gripping it tightly. Cameron has a look on his face that he's a bit pleased with himself, and Devon can't figure out why. It's like the coyote thinks he's winning some kind of game, and Devon has to grit his teeth so he doesn't start an argument all over again. Just an hour ago, Cameron was sobbing after seeing and hearing terrible things, and now he's walking back in the same direction like it's nothing. Maybe the coyote is more resilient than the bear had always thought. And maybe the bear is finding out how not resilient he is himself. Cameron has Jenna syndrome. Yeah. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that picked that up. That's... His stomach growls loudly, and when Cameron jokingly asks if he's hungry, Devon lies and says yes. In reality, it's from anxiety, something he isn't used to feeling all that often. The bear only finds comfort in gripping Cameron's paw even tighter and promising himself that he won't let anything else bad happen to them. Cameron presses up tightly against Devon's side, breathing in the comforting scent of his cologne. Cam's show of confidence has mostly diminished at this point, especially as they're passing the motel. The coyote has to remind himself why it is that he insisted on doing this when Dev has offered a perfectly reasonable, if slightly exhausting alternative. Being exhausted is preferable to PTSD. But Cameron could sense the bear beginning to treat him in a way that he didn't like, talking to him like he was fragile, like the slightest touch could tip him over and where he'd shatter on the asphalt. He wants to prove that he can deal with this, which is why he has to smirk at himself right now, because he definitely wouldn't have made it this far if Dev weren't by his side. Right now, the bear has a steely grip on Cameron's paw, making it clear that he isn't letting go. Meanwhile, their free paws hold their phones, checking every now and then for signal. Anything yet? No. When do we get a signal at the same time anyway? Well, I assume I'll get it first. Oh, because mine's not an android? Oop. Yep, that is correct. Android supremacy. If only I had the brain of an engineer to figure out how to work one. Actually, maybe I should just turn mine off and let you search for a signal. We should keep some battery life in one of our phones just in case. Oh, yeah, good idea. Your battery would probably die before we found service anyway. Cameron turns his phone off while Dev looks on. I wouldn't worry too much about it, though. It's not like we're lost in the woods or something. Yes, you're lost in something. And I let like 3 people know where we're going. We're gonna be fine no matter what, babe. Famous last words if I've ever heard them. Right up there with "Here goes nothing" and "I think I took too much." Yeah, right. Our last words are gonna be "Holy shit, we lived to 100." I'm pretty sure I'm already screwed my chances at that with all the drugs I did. Along with eating fudge cakes for lunch whenever I'm at work. Ugh, seriously, Cam? Hey, it's in the vending machine right next to my cubicle. Well, we're changing that as soon as we get back. How are you gonna do that, aside from stalking me at work? I'll make your lunch. They're gonna have us start working from home on Monday, remember? I'll have plenty of time. Hell, I'd be surprised if they don't start making you work from home soon. We'll be like coworkers. That chance. They don't give a shit about your health there. We'll see. Either way, you'll be living to 110. So you'll have plenty of time to think up your famous last words. Cameron has to wonder if their meandering conversation is purposeful on Dev's part, if only to distract him from what's across the road. Either way, the coyote is thankful for it. Only if you make it there with me. And we're gonna pause here for another 15-minute break so I can take my breather and get more water. Everyone, stand up, stretch, get some water, and get some food. We'll be right back in 15 minutes, all right? For the final hour of Arches for today. All right? Everyone, stand up, stretch, get some water, get some food. We'll be right back in 15, all right? BRB. Okay. Alright, we're good. We're golden. Let me drink some water. About 15 minutes later, Cameron starts to become a bit more agitated. They're on a dirt road at this point, and every now and then they walk past crumbling structures of what used to be houses and trailers. You think the cell service stopped working since you read about it? I don't know. They said it's pretty sporadic. Who said this exactly? The paranormal forum peeps. I hope they're trustworthy. They are, or at least they have no reason to lie. I think the paranormal gives people incentive to lie, especially if you're not gifted. Sure. But we're talking about cell phone service, not ghosts. Could also be a scheme by those crazy locals to lure their victims into town. Also, welcome back, Kayla. You're joking. But I know you're still worried about that, so I'll just point out that it's highly unlikely because that would leave too much of a paper trail. I'm not that worried, especially now that we've made it this far and nothing... Oh, shit! Oh, what? Damn it. I just had a bar for a split second. The bear waves the phone around overhead, spinning in a slow circle. Man, it looks like we're going in circles or something. What the hell, Dev? You scared me. Sorry, babe. Anyway, I think it came from this direction. Dev indicates a rather large grouping of trees off the side of the road that forms a bit of a miniature forest. Of course. Why does it have to be the creepiest thing in sight? Or close to a certain hillbilly, for that matter. You wanna hang back while I check it out? No? Is that a question? Cameron doesn't respond, instead sliding his paw into the one Dev's offering, and they start making their way through the sagebrush. Oh god, imagine all the ticks we're picking up. Don't worry, babe. I'll comb through all your fur when you get out of here. Want me to carry you? I'm fine. Why would you say no to a bear like that? Oh my god. Alright, just don't think about the tarantulas and scorpions. You suck so much ass. Your ass is the only one I eat. Ah! Dev grunts in a heavy, bearish way as Cameron wraps his arm around his neck and lifts his feet off the ground, forcing Dev to bridle carry him. Chuckling, Dev carefully makes his way through the rough terrain while the coyote awkwardly keeps his feet lifted high so they don't brush the sage. Jesus Christ. Dev finally lowers the coyote near the edge of the forest and they stand there, looking into the blackness. Cameron can only see the branches outlined against the moonlight, but otherwise it's almost like looking into the void. I'm fighting every urge to yawn because my body is going into defense mode and trying to force me to fall asleep to refresh myself of this emotion. I'm fighting every bit of urge. We're on the last hour and I'm going to keep going. The feeling of emptiness is emphasized by the sudden quiet desert around them. So, I got like one bar. That isn't working. You know, trees could make it harder to get a signal. Can you make a call? Well, I can't open my insurance app, so I don't know what the preferred towing companies are. And I'm just short of realizing that most probably won't come out here anyway, since Flake Road doesn't technically exist anymore. Flake Road? Something like that. I'm sure it's not that. So we're not getting towed out, and you don't even know the name of the road we crashed on. Are you saying we're stuck here? Like, really stuck? Well, my Jeep probably is, not us. The highway is still within walking distance, remember? Hey, let's be horribly cute while wandering into a dark forest in the most cursed place in the world after crashing our ride. Honestly. I'm such an idiot. I can't believe it got us into this mess. Hey, I don't give a shit about my Jeep. Besides, just got an idea. Dev taps on his phone a few times and puts it up to his ear, but only for a few seconds before he scowls. What? Call dropped, but it rang for a second. We are so dead. I've killed us. Oh, stop it, honey. I'll try texting. Who are you texting? An old friend of ours. Who? Damn it. I swear the bar keeps disappearing every time I try to send. I'll try some different angles. Dev is hunched over in his phone, tapping away. Cameron just sighs, letting Dev do whatever it is he's doing. Despite the bear's attempts to placate him, the coyote knows that they both know that this is his fault. Why don't you just tell me what a stupid idiot piece of shit I am? Cameron doesn't want to admit it, even in his mind, but one thing he liked about Dylan was that he didn't sugarcoat things for the coyote. Why are you remembering your ex now all of a sudden? It's almost like you're possessed by ghosts or something. Or that this town is just depressing people. He'd tell him when he was an idiot, either with his words or fists. The coyote turns his attention back to the forest, staring into the dark. Dev doesn't know anything about him and Dylan, and Cameron sure as hell isn't ever going to tell him. Why not? I feel like he should know. Or at least have you, please tell me you have someone to talk about it. Especially that sometimes he was the one to swing first. He always lost, but the few hits he'd land always felt worth it. That would be a real treat for you, Dev. Not only is your boyfriend crazy, he's violent too. Does he even know you at all? A chill goes up Cameron's spine. That didn't feel like his own thoughts, even though it came from inside his head. Cameron moves closer to Devon, rubbing his arms. Oh, just send, goddammit! Devon? Just a second. A few already went through. Just gotta confirm some things with him. The void seems to get bigger, and even though he wants to look away, Cameron can't. He knows he's sensing again, even though he isn't meaning to. Hey. I don't know what it was. That's what really bothered me about it. I think I could handle something like a ghost, but not something like that. So it was just me and my wife, taking a walk through the old forest like we always do. And then, I don't know, I got this weird feeling and everything went real quiet. Then this voice started, a man's voice, but it was kind of eerie, like it wasn't real. Hard to explain, but it was like it was an electronic thing, a machine. It started yelling at us in this sort of playful way, like it was making fun of us or taunting us. It said things like, "The devil walks beside you," and "I'm taking you to hell." Weird crap like that. It was coming from the tops of the trees. You could kind of hear it go up and down and come closer, like it was swinging through the branches. And yeah, it scared us, because it didn't make sense. That voice, where it was coming from. What it was saying, none of it made sense. That's the scary part. So we ran, and then it said some nasty things about my wife, so I picked her up and ran as fast as I could. Later, she told me she saw it over my shoulder in the trees. Had a hard time explaining, which I understand because I can't explain it at all. But she said it was a shadow. Yep, this is the scene from TJ. TJ's route. Janice had broken the car. Julian was helping fix the car. Janice talking about the couple in the forest. Yep. A shadow person that was moving through the branches. She said light bent in a weird way around its body, like it was encased in a glass globe or something. She hadn't said much else about it. She said that she don't like talking about it. No, neither do I. I'm only telling you because I feel like there needs to be a record of it somewhere. It just feels wrong to go out of his life without knowing. I don't know. Letting people know that unexplainable stuff happens a lot to to a lot of people. And I wonder, and I hoped we figured out why. And this might not be important, but I had dreams afterwards where I'd be in the forest, and the shadow creature would come prowling out into the open. And then the sounds would come from where its mouth would be. I'd hear a young man scream for help, all distorted like it was recorded on a tape or something. And then there'd be this high-pitched laughter. Take the saturated picture of a hallway, fill it with shadow demons, and write some text on it like, me and the boys to 2 a.m. looking for beans. Thanks, Jem. Fuck! Okay. Oh my god. Shit! Ah! Did you hear that? That laugh? Yeah, it sounded like a drunk dude kind of far away. Your screaming is what made me scream. It was like a cackle, like a cartoon witch or something. It was right next to us. I've heard it before. Well, I wouldn't say it was like a witch. It was kind of high-pitched, I guess. But again, it was pretty distant. I hate this. I hate arches. Why is it jump scaring me with cartoon witch cackles? What the fuck is this? I hate this. Oh my god. Last hour. 30 minutes left. God. I think we should go. Why? I think it was just like a drunk hick or something. I'm almost done messaging Artie. Something bangs like a screen door swinging closed, and not very far away. Who's squealing? That you, Duke? Got me a 12 gauge right here. That'll make you squeal twice as loud if you're snooping around my property again. Dev's voice drops to a whisper. Holy shit. Then, before Cam could fully absorb exactly what's happening, Dev is pulling him along, running at full tilt through the sagebrush, towards the road and back to Lake Emma. Kinky. Jem, no. Devon's feet ache from the plethora of rocks he trampled on, the tough pads on the undersides feeling almost torn up from the rough terrain. He's thankful, though, if only for the fact that he hadn't run himself and Cameron into a cactus. Dev? Cameron's voice jerks with every running step. We're almost there. Dev huffs and puffs for air, now aware that he's a bit more out of shape than he realized. He hadn't run in earnest for at least a few years. Dev, we're out of town. The bear slows down now that his stuck jeep is in sight, and he finally lets go of Cameron's paw before doubling over to rest his paws on his knees, wheezing. Fuck! Give me a minute. Jesus, are you okay? It sounds like you're dying. Dev? My fucking thigh is cramping like a motherfucker. Holy shit! Dev's large rear hits the ground with a thump as he reaches down to massage the back of his thigh. Oh, thank God. For what? Lay on your back. Before Devon can even follow directions, Cameron takes the bear's right leg and slowly lifts it up, making Dev spasm as the cramping muscle is slowly stretched out. Oh, fuck! Ugh. This is what I get for not running since like college. Cameron gently rocks the leg back and forth. You ran since then. Remember that stupid company triathlon thing we did where you carried me on your back and ran across the soccer field? Despite the light conversation, Dev sees Cam looking over his shoulder towards the town, like he's waiting for a mob of hillbillies to come raging up the road. Man, I told you, Dev! The people here are psycho! Dev grunts as Cameron stretches his leg back again. I think he wasn't being serious, but yeah, you're right. No, he's dead serious. That I know that fucking hillbilly, and he will kill you. All the more reason to get the fuck out of here. Fuck! Dev finally pulls his foot back, gingerly getting it to his feet while continuing to rub at his thigh. Ugh! I've never had a cramp so painful. I guess I'm getting old. Take it easy next time. You were more scared than I was. You said yourself he was just a drunk hick. You forgot the part where he got a shotgun. Yeah, we were surprised if he didn't have one. Do you think he's gonna come looking for us? We're not that hard to find out here. Sounded like he thought you were some other hick. Think we're fine. I suppose you can put trailer. Ah! Oh my god, feathers! I'm on edge. Your pets, no fucking feathers from Twitch did a sound alert that no one could hear but me. I suppose you could put trailer trash in the category as a hick, so that makes sense. Oh my god. I'm turning those off next time. I forgot to turn them off. We could keep an eye out. Fuck. We could keep an eye out for right now though, just in case. Who did you say you were texting again? Artie from college. He just happened to be up, and he's still living in Mesa. Said he drove out right away, so he could be here in like 3 hours. Huh. Why Artie, though? I don't know. He was at the top of my contacts list, and I knew he still lived in the state, so I gave it a shot. Can give us a ride at least, I guess. He's got one of those massive trucks, so he might be able to pull us out. His last message said he'd be there in 3 hours or less. Well, I guess it's not that bad. As long as we're out of here by morning. Oh my god, there's a puddle of feathers on the floor. I don't want you getting caught out in the heat all day. Yeah, we got shit ton of water. And if I need to cool down... Devon waves his paw at the lake. Don't fucking swim in the lake! Cameron stares at the lake, seeming to think, then looks back at Dev. Listen, while we were in the forest, I don't know. I didn't see anything, but I think I did some light touch sensing. Ah! I hate this. I'm turning off your redeems. Oh my god. Redeems turned off. Nothing can get through now. Oh, God. Listen, while we were in the forest, I don't know. I didn't see anything, but I think I did some light touch sensing the right way. Dev's upbeat mood disappears in an instant. What? Why would you do that? Well, it kind of just happened, and I made sure to not interact or anything, and it was just fine, at least for the most part. What I heard was creepy. Okay. Well, now I'm going to tell you to be careful again, because I don't want to repeat of what happened in the motel. Well, like I said, I couldn't exactly help it. Anyway, do you know about a shadow person in the forest that spoke with distorted electronic voice? Devon is caught off guard. He knows Cameron's trying to take focus off the fact that he's still messing around with the supernatural in a dangerously supernatural place. But he also knows exactly what Cameron is referring to. The chapter in Haunted Echo titled Entities of Static described exactly that. And in the thick of trying to figure out whom to call, he hadn't realized that was the forest. How'd you not know that, man? Jesus. Dev's surprise must be pretty obvious as Cameron grins. No way! Am I right? Cameron's sudden joyous reaction surprises the bear. Well, yeah, you're right. Can you believe this? Sorry, I don't know why I'm so happy. It's just, there's a fucking reason for me being the way I am. I can't deny it anymore. It's hard to explain, but that kind of changes my entire life. Cam's bottom lip trembles with emotion, and Dev shakes off his feeling of unease, drawing him into a hug. Come here. I know what you mean, baby. Well, I don't personally know, but I wanted you to feel that way for a long time. I'm really happy for you. I feel like I could do something. I don't know, maybe help people with this? Cameron's voice is muffled against Dev's chest. Oh, sure. Of course. Let's just find a better place than here, okay? Dev nuzzles Cameron reassuringly, but the coyote doesn't answer. Even though that bothers the bear, he doesn't press the issue, just wanting Cameron to feel happy for now. Cameron sits in the trunk of the Jeep, legs hanging out over the edge, dangling towards the ground that's further away than usual due to the tilt. Cameron is feeling confident about his abilities, finding purpose, but of all the places to find it, honestly? I mean, if you want to be 100% sure about your supernatural abilities, you might as well go to the worst town ever, apparently. Meanwhile, he fiddles with his old acoustic guitar that had been stashed in the Jeep for at least a year, tuning it slowly. He hadn't even remembered it was there until they folded down the seats for a place to try and sleep. He last played at Dev's parents' house because they wanted to hear him perform. And he just left it there in the Jeep afterwards. Oh my god. Excuse me. He hadn't had a reason to play it since. The rest of the night or early morning really hadn't been terrible. Dev was easily comfortable. The hard surface, not all that different from his side of the mattress, which was rock hard compared to Cameron's much squishier foam. He had tossed and turned until Dev finally pulled him in to lay his head on the bear's stomach. The soft, warm surface enough to lull Cameron into a dozing state of consciousness while Dev snored loudly. He gotten used to snoring after all these years, and now he found it comforting rather than annoying. It was a good night, considering the circumstances. Dev had been unsure about sleeping in the tilted Jeep at all because it gave him a bad feeling. Also, hi Ace. Yes, I'm doing okay. He also had a bad feeling about Cameron going back to the motel with him, so he left him here alone while the bear gathered up the rest of their stuff. 5 hours had passed since Artie texted Devon, so the bear had been getting antsy about that as well. They had a bit of an argument, and Cameron only agreed to stay behind when Dev promised not to go back to the forest to text Artie again. Now, Cameron sits here moping, the feeling of a lopsided relationship returning. I suck at guitar, he mumbles to himself quietly out of habit, knowing people didn't like hearing it since he was good enough, which had been his goal. All of his singer-songwriter idols played guitar, and he wanted to be just like them. He forced himself to learn how to become good enough with all the awkward fingerings and the constant tuning and the pain of holding down the steel strings with his finger pads, even after he built up calluses. That's how he described guitar in general, a pain. He preferred piano, and that's what he used to write all of his music. But the devastatingly sad men of the 90s Northwest indie music scene didn't play piano. They played guitar because they were also rugged and tough, molded by the lodging towns they were originated from. It turns out that one's image is just as important in indie as it is in pop, despite the former trying to convince itself it isn't. So Cameron had to conform to that, and in the end, it hadn't mattered. The hours and hours of dedicated learning the instrument through high school and college now felt wasted. Still, the feeling of the instrument is familiar in its pause, even if his fingers are already getting sore. He tries to think of one of his less embarrassing songs, one of the ones where he wasn't just wearing the influence of cloudy, dreary northwestern cities on his sleeve, even though that's where he's from. He tried and failed to duplicate their poetic and opaque lyricism. Instead, he found himself slipping back again and again to the style of his own generation. While his idols of the 90s wove lyrics that forced the listener to delve into something complex, to find meaning in the metaphors and symbolism, singer-songwriters born in the 90s, like himself, presented their lyrics in a more literal, honest way that often describes specific situations with seemingly nothing hidden. To Cameron, it's two sides of the same coin. Instead of discovering meaning in complexity, it's about discovering complexity in simplicity. He sighs, deciding it's tuned well enough. He glances up, making sure Dev isn't heading back before playing. He's badly out of practice, but he starts to slowly warm up. The music analogy is like Howley comparing the written works of Echo and Arch's two musical styles. Sounds like the difference in writing. Complex and straightforward. Oh, okay, now I see it. That's honestly pretty neat. Cameron sings quietly, almost under his breath. This particular song got the attention of an independent label on the West Coast after one of their scouts heard it in a college radio station. They signed him in his junior year of college. Looking back, it was the high point of his life. Dev had celebrated in earnest, happily telling him that he'd make more money than he himself ever would. But what Cameron didn't realize was that even after being signed, he could still be dropped without releasing any of his music. And after what was probably the lowest point in his life, they did just that. Dropped over a text message with his agent saying the demos he'd made in studio weren't up to their quality standard. That hurt a lot because he knew it was true. He'd been nervous the entire time and his output wasn't even close to what he was capable of. Though he tried to comfort himself with the idea that most musicians go in it alone these days. His own postings on the internet barely got more than a few dozen listeners. Then, he finally realized that he was in it for the wrong reason. His peers just like playing music, throwing stuff out into the ether, whether anyone heard it or not. Cameron needed an audience to stay motivated, to be famous, so in a way, I fucking deserved it. At least Devon never brought it up. Cameron stops playing, having seen brownish fur out of the corner of his eye. He thinks it's Dev and immediately feels his face flush, freezing and just sitting there. This is why he didn't play or sing in a serious way these days. Now it just feels like showing off a skill that he was never really skilled at in the first place. But after a while, he doesn't hear anything. No voice. Oh fuck, it's that bear. No footsteps. And biting through his embarrassment, Cam looked up the road where he'd been certain to see his boyfriend had been watching him. Dev? The silence is heavy and thick. A weird feeling and everything went really quiet. Cameron stares up at the empty road, then feeling it of unease growing until he finally shoves his guitar to the side and pulls out his phone, tapping mindlessly on a mindless gaming app to distract himself. Nope, not doing this again. Not right now. And even though the road remains empty, and even though the sun shines brightly above, illuminating everything around him, the feeling of what is becoming very, very familiar dread continues to grow. Where's Devon? Then, that light shining down on everything changes, shifting to a more golden glow. What the hell's going on? Cameron had a few bad trips in the past, shrooms being the worst, and that was what gave him his first panic attack. In a strange way, this feels similar. Please, not now. I have control. I'm saying not now. No. Control. Shit! That voice, well, that feeling, it instantly made all the fur on the back of his neck stand up. Cameron starts walking up the road towards the Echo just under a mile away. Dev, come back now, please. The panic creeps up his neck like he's drowning. Until last night, he hadn't had a panic attack in over 2 years. Watch the background. Now it's like his brain has relearned the spiraling process of gasping for air that's readily available but still out of reach. He fights the urge, counting, trying to remember the pace of Dev's steady breaths. Hadn't he wanted to reject the idea that he needed Dev to face his fears? Doesn't he know how to handle this? How to do it safely? Cameron also knows that running to Dev will only make things worse for his boyfriend. Did he want to stress him out even more? The coyote stops, then turns around slowly. Just like that, the feeling of panic and terror slowly fades away to be replaced by a feeling of purpose. Something solid, something resolute in his existence. Something that already has happened. Nothing can be done to change it. A feeling of acceptance. Cameron's walk slows to a more measured pace, mirroring someone just outside of his view. In another place. No, in the exact same place, just in a different time. Cameron knows what's happening, and he questions what he's about to do, but with this new feeling of calm assuredness. The coyote decides to let it happen. Dev didn't want him doing this because he had a change of heart, but so has Cameron, and this is his choice to make. So, he let it happen, and he senses this person, a girl, a feline, walking just like him, years and years ago. She tries to keep her sobs quiet, walking along the road by the lake. She'd been looking around for this for 2 months. She'd been looking forward for this for 2 months. She saved up money from babysitting jobs to buy her own dress, her own fake jewelry, and her makeup. Her father had found the makeup a week ago and threw it away, telling her only bad things happened to girls who wore makeup. Even then, she still had the dance to look forward to. But now James, her ex from last year, had ruined it. He'd shown up drunk, proposed to her, then cussed out her new boyfriend, whom she'd only been seeing for a month now, until he left. At least now she's glad she doesn't have the makeup on, and how wet her eyes are. This had been the last dance of the year at Echo High, and she's worried she's going to graduate with no boyfriend at all and no money to go anywhere. Lost in her thoughts, she noticed fast, pounding steps only seconds before it happens. Before it happens, she sees James as it happens. She realizes what's happening in the same moment. Knowing him, this is actually something she expected. And in that moment, she decides that maybe this is for the best. Cameron? Lost in vision, Cameron feels himself recoil from something touching him. Cameron loses his balance, windmilling his arms comically, and for a split second, to recognize Dev, the bear has his paw out, like he'd been resting it on the coyote's arm. The look of shock is mirrored on the boyfriend's face before he goes over the edge and straight into the lake. Cameron! The coyote expects to go under or stay under, just like the girl from Echo High School. But a jolt goes through his body as his rear lands on a rocky surface, just a foot underwater, and Cameron cries out loudly, "Fuck! Fuck!" Cameron looks up to see Dev getting ready to jump in. I'm fine. At first, Cameron is just embarrassed, like he got caught doing something he shouldn't, which he knows is the case in Dev's mind. It's not deep as it used to be. What? As he climbs out with Dev's help, though, that embarrassment changed to anger. The coyote grunts and snarls quietly as he automatically starts stripping off his clothes, his plaid shirt and jeans sticking to his soggy fur. Dev hovers over him, trying to help, but mostly getting in the way. Dev, you have a list of people who died here, right? What? What the hell are you talking about? You just fell into the lake. stop talking about this shitty town and let me make sure you're... Oh, that's rich coming from you. I've been saying that to you for the past 5 years, and yet here we are. So no, I won't stop. Give me the list, or I'll just look it up myself. Fluffy boy, fluffy boy. Dev glares, making himself look big, but Cameron doesn't budge. Even though in that moment he realized his phone got wet, and he can only hope that it's still going to work after this. After a second, the bear deflates. Look at the fluffy boy. Please. I just want to be out of here. I'll do whatever you want afterwards. Let's just go home first. That cools Cameron's outrage for the time being. Never having seen Dev look so defeated? We will go home, and I'm sorry I'm being like this, but you have to understand that this is changing everything for me. I just need this for a little bit, okay? Okay, but I'm not leaving your side until we're out of this town, okay? Didn't I tell you this was a bad idea at the very start? Cameron tries to lighten the mood a bit, not liking the conflicts they're having on this little trip. They hardly had any before coming here. Now they have such a different ideas on what they should be doing. It's like they're in a tug of war. Dev takes out his phone, bringing up the document he'd been using to map out the supernatural happenings and histories of Echo. So, it was a girl, teenager, a bobcat, from like the 50s, I think. A student from Echo High School. Honestly, it's a fluff. Dev raises an eyebrow, scrolling slowly on his phone. Then he looks back up. Yeah. June 1954. An 18-year-old bobcat drowns in the lake in what is thought to be a suicide. So, the fucker got away with it. Who? How does your tail feel, by the way? Dev is running a paw along his tail, feeling out the vertebrae. Cameron finds the bear's disinterest in all of this more and more irritating, especially now that he's found what feels like his purpose. He can help, somehow. Help how? Dev hits a bruised spot on the tail and the coyote winces before shoving his paw away. Ow! Not now, Dev! Listen, her ex-boyfriend killed her. I saw him run up and push her into the lake. Did you have to experience that? Do you feel okay? Dev! I'm not important here! This is about someone who got murdered and some piece of shit got away with it! First of all, don't call yourself unimportant. You're still alive, and you need to keep it that way by not falling into lakes because of these awful visions. I need to tell her family, or at least someone, so people know the truth. Devon frowns deeply at the coyote. Listen, babe. I know you can see things that I can't and all, but I gotta be honest and say that no one's gonna care. They're dead. The girl, and more likely her ex too. That's short-sighted as hell, Dev. He could definitely still be alive, having lived a full life after murdering someone. And she might have siblings who are still alive, or... I don't know. I think someone probably gives enough of a shit to want to know. And then? What? You go up to them and tell them you're psychic and that you had a vision of their loved one being murdered? Besides, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone knew what happened. A lot of times they do. There just isn't always enough evidence. Cameron feels his face getting hot, glaring at the asphalt. You wanted me to do this, and you wanted answers. Why are you holding me back now? Because I'm terrified right now. Of this town, of the ghosts, of you getting hurt somehow. Because with the rate things are going, that's what probably is going to happen. I want to know where Lupita is, but she died because I made stupid mistakes. I can't have the same thing happen to you. Cameron's face gets hot again as he realizes Dev is about to cry and his resolve wavers. He starts to step forward to hold Dev like the bear had held the coyote so many times, but then the two of them look up to see a rather small sedan pulling up the road, a figure inside waving enthusiastically through the windshield. What the hell? Where's his truck? Oh, Arturo? Devon! Cameron! Sorry I'm late. Had trouble finding the road. Then I had trouble driving on it. Did I get you in the middle of some... Where the hell is your truck? Huh? Look at my Jeep! I told you I was stuck, man! Well, this is not the sort of reunion I was expecting. I thought you just wanted a ride. Besides, even if I pulled you out there, Jeep's fucked. I can tell from here. Be nice, Dev. He's doing us a favor. Oh, hey, Cam. Hey, Artie. I fell in the lake, so that's why I'm half naked right now. That's hilarious! Did you push him in, Devon? Already makes me feel like I'm back in college. Oh my god! Hey, are you guys ghost hunting? Can I join in before we head out? Nope. Oh, why not? Because we're done. Dev, we can probably walk around a bit before we go. We went on a really long drive. I feel the same way. I don't know what it is about him, but something doesn't. I don't like him. I don't know. He's too happy-go-lucky. This is a sad game. This man's too happy. What? Devon sounded incredulous, and Cameron can understand why, but despite what the bear said moments ago, he still wanted to explore further. Cameron knows that once he leaves, he'll probably never come back to this place again. Damn, Dev. Did the two of you switch places or something? Anyway, I agree with Cam. I got to stretch my legs out a bit. Devon looks down at Cameron, apparently at a loss for words. Cameron can't meet his gaze, so he looks down on the road towards Echo, towards the place that he's positive has more answers to all his questions. He needs this. And this is where we're going to save. Because if I go any further, I will spiral and keep going for another 12 hours playing this game. So, with that being said, we're going to end it on both sides for tonight. Because I need to decompose and decompress myself right now of how stressed I am right from this. So, with that being said, let's leave it on a gallery. Let's leave it on a thing. With that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you stay comfy cozy in this owl cottage. Be sure to tune in tomorrow on our Twitch page for some Soul Creek. Honestly, it's just one after the other at this point. So yeah. And as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell icon to get notified on our next adventure, our next live. So yeah. Remember guys, stay comfy, stay cozy, and always be safe, alright? Have a wonderful night, everybody. Hoot hoot!